Finally tonight, the politics of gender. Where to draw the line, and has it already been crossed? Judy Woodruff has that.
As the presidential primaries near an end, the debate has picked up over whether Hillary Clinton's candidacy has been adversely affected by her gender. Have the charges raised of sexism or sexist remarks been true? And if so, how much have they hurt Clinton? We get different views on the question now from syndicated columnist Marie Cocco and Washington Post columnist Ruth Marcus. Thank you both for being here. Marie, I'm going to start with you. You've been writing that there has been sexism in this campaign. How so?
Well, I wrote my first column about this last October when Clinton was the prohibitive front-runner, when not a single vote had been cast, no caucuses and primaries had been held. And by last October, we had already had John Edwards and Barack Obama discuss her jacket at a debate. There had already been a national discussion about her cleavage. There had already been a long-running cable TV discussion about whether her laugh was really a cackle. And then by November, we had a situation where a woman got up at a John McCain event and said, how do we beat the rhymes with which? And John McCain chuckled and didn't rebuke her in any way, and ultimately said that's an excellent question. So this has been an atmosphere that started very early. It did not start once Clinton started losing primaries. It started before any votes were cast.
Ruth, have you seen it that way?
I've seen everything that Marie talks about, and I think those are certainly episodes in the campaign and episodes that I think any person would find disturbing to different degrees, and I found them disturbing. I'm not sure, though, whether that's the forest or the trees. I've actually been struck throughout the course of the campaign. Yes, I think we can all agree there have been really unfortunate comments that were not taken as seriously as racist comments would have been taken. But overall, the campaign has been relatively devoid of that kind of ugliness, and I think overall it's been, as Speaker Pelosi said to you last night, a lot of groundbreaking for women that's going to be built on.
So is this just a matter of the eye of the beholder, Marie?
I disagree. I think that the cable media in particular, and certain cable outlets in particular, have had a jocular locker room cant going on about Senator Clinton for months. And I can tell you that in response to a column I wrote just last week, I received more than 8,000 emails from all over the world, from India, from Indonesia, from Canada, from Europe.
From women?
Almost all from women, some from men. And the mail was running about 10 or 12 to 1, agreeing with this partial catalog of truly vitriolic and hateful, often vulgar stuff that has been said about Senator Clinton. Now, I am not arguing that this is why she's losing.
That's what I want to ask you.
What I am saying is,
affected the campaign?
What I am saying is that this has been the cultural atmosphere, that no one has called out the media on this. And I don't think it's, if I were to do an analysis of why she's losing, I would look a lot more at the mechanics of her campaign. However, I think this has been a boulder on her back.
But I guess I would look at it as, are women candidates today better off than they were 7 or 8 months ago? I would actually argue, though I don't disagree with what Maria said about the tenor of some of the conversation, that they're better off. Senator Clinton has shown you can be tough. You can also show emotion. There's no question about whether she knows the substance. If you remember way back when Donald Reagan, President Reagan's chief of staff, talked about how women weren't interested in throwaways. Well, nobody could suggest that Hillary Clinton has outwonked every other candidate on the campaign trail. I think this has all been to the good.
Marie, how can it be that it's, you're saying it's out there at a serious level?
Yes.
But you're saying it hasn't determined the outcome or the course of the campaign?
I think, look,
so
when you're running a losing campaign, you can find 1,000 reasons why that campaign is losing. Just like when you're running a winning campaign, you can find 1,000 reasons why that candidate is completely brilliant, okay? I think this has been an atmosphere of contempt and disrespect. Now, for example, what would have happened if...
Let me just come back to Ruth's remark that it's better than it was, or better than it could have been.
I think if you look back at, for example, Geraldine Ferraro, the only woman who's ever run on a national ticket, There were a couple of episodes in 1984 where there were clearly sexist remarks made. But this constant drumbeat of contempt and vitriol and actual vulgarity, I don't think really went on 24 years ago.
So the two of you, very smart women, having very different perspectives.
Well, there's an overlap in our perspectives, and I think that Marie has tapped into something real that is serious that many women and some men have felt in the campaign, and that I think it really behooves Senator Obama to be very attentive to as the campaign unfolds and as Senator Clinton eventually, I think, will concede the nomination to him, because there is a lot of anger out there, and he needs to be very careful about treating her in a way that her supporters will feel is respectful.
Are you saying there's something he needs to say or do, or is this a tone?
I don't think he has to make her the vice president or pick a woman vice presidential nominee, but I think it's very tonal, and people have taken offense sometimes in this campaign where I think none was intended. For example, there was a controversy over pulling out Senator Clinton's chair at one of the debates. All of those little things at this moment when people's emotions are very raw and exposed really can make a difference, and I think it's a dangerous time for Senator Obama in that sense.
Marie, what about, and Senator Clinton herself was asked about this week, and she said she didn't think there'd been overt racism in this campaign, but she did suggest she thinks there's been a level of sexism. Talk about the difference about what's acceptable and what isn't.
Well, again, if you look at some of the commentary from truly multi-million-dollar media personalities on national broadcasts with a national microphone who have said just contemptible sexist things, it's my belief that if they had said the kind of contemptible things with a racial element about Senator Obama, somebody would have called them out on it. Somebody would have. Maybe Howard Dean would have. Maybe Senator Obama's surrogates and campaign officials would have gone on and demanded time to say...
And you're saying no one did that?
No one. To my knowledge, the only comment that's been rebuked, so to speak, was the comment on MSNBC that Chelsea Clinton, it seemed as though Chelsea Clinton was being pimped out. To my knowledge, that's the only one. And of course, we can catalog them going back months and months.
Very quickly, and Ruth, yesterday in my talk with Speaker Pelosi, she said she also doesn't believe it's a setback for women in politics if Senator Clinton doesn't win the nomination.
I think actually it's an important stepping stone for women. I'm depressed in the sense that there's not a next obvious candidate to come along, but I'm energized and enthusiastic because I would like to see a woman president in my lifetime at the notion that I think this campaign will, and I disagree with Marie here, make it easier for the next woman.
Marie,
I see no one on the
possibility?
horizon that would bring the political portfolio to a campaign that Hillary Clinton did in terms of national name recognition, fundraising capability, her base of support within the party, and so forth. So I don't see any candidate on the horizon. And I have to wonder if some of these women governors whose names we see tossed around really want to put themselves through the kind of ringer that's been out there this year. I don't know. Maybe they do. If they do, great. If not, I think we're going to be waiting a very long time.
I have a feeling we are going to be coming back to this. Marie Cocco, Ruth Marcus, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks.